My style. My style. My style. My style. My style. My style. My style.
Yerp, this perp back with another top 10 video, and this is going to be my top 10 best albums of 2018. And let me clarify, these are hip hop albums. I don't listen to none of that country shit, none of that nut ass, none of that nut shit. This is, what I'm saying? This is the best of the best. This is my personal list. Yours might be different. I'm curious to know what your top 10 albums of the year is in the comments below. Let me know. Now, this is a very interesting list I came up with. It surprisingly was kind of tough to do with certain things. I'll get to that later on in the video. But yeah, let's start off with number 10. Drum roll, please. Trippie Redd, Life is a Trip. Now, I know for a fact that's not going to be a lot of people's favorite albums. He dropped 2 projects this year, Life is a Trip and A Love Letter to You 3, which was a solid project, but definitely was more mixtape soundy. Which is, I wish he would have took some of them songs on there and put it on his album, But that's a whole nother thing. But I really like Trippie, very diverse. It's just a cool album, It's not overly lyrical, but he shows his versatility, and I'm really rooting for him. Hopefully he sticks to it and does things differently than other people in his class. But yeah, number 10 is Trippie. Number 9 is Drake with Scorpion. Now, I was even shocked that I even put this in my top 10. But I seem to catch myself listening to this more than I want to. And it's weird. And I don't have a problem with Drake. It's just my problem. It's when people try to turn the conversation of top artists in who's the best in what category, you know what I'm saying? Drake is a great entertainer. That's no doubt about it. But if we're just talking MCs, no, not at all. But this is a solid project, way better than More Life, way better than Views. So, I have to give him props on this, even though it's a long ass project. But I think this is way better than that half-ass More Life, and way better than that bullshit Views. Yeah, Drake is my number 9. Now off to number 8. Now, this one's crazy. Dave East and Styles P, Beloved. Fire. I love this project. I could always turn this on and just let it play all the way through, or even have it on shuffle or whatever. Like, this shit is dope. Hopefully they have more tracks in the works, like A Beloved 2. Hopefully we can get that in 2019 or 2020 or something like that. But that's something I'm looking forward to. Ill ass duo. Didn't really expect this to even come about, but yeah, that's my number 8. Number 7. Let's see. It's Meek Mill Champions, and this just dropped, but man, this is the Meek Mill project that I've always wanted personally. I never was a fan. I wasn't a huge fan of Dreams and Nightmares. That kind of let me down. It was too and before that, I thought Dream Chasers 1 was his best project to date, even more than Dream Worth More Than Money and Lens and Losses. But Champion is really shows Meek Mill's growth over the years. But going to number 6, and number 6, Jay Rock's Redemption. I really like Jay Rock. I think he's the most underrated, one of the most underrated spitters on TDE, next to Absol or just anybody in the TDE camp, very good project. If you're a fan of J Rock, I already know this is probably your top album of the year or your album of the year or probably in your top fives. But this has definitely made my top 10 list. It's well deserved. The man works hard. You could just hear it in the music. It just shows in itself. Now, let's go to number 5. And number 5 is JID's DiCaprio 2. Another project that just released, but the more I listen to it, the more it's just like, yo, this is well put together, just like a Never Story. Never Story was, I had that as my favorite album of 2017, and it's crazy that JID once again makes my top 5 this year in 2018, and he's really hitting the ground hard, like just insanely talented flow switch ups. We're gonna keep hearing the Kendrick comparisons, but I think this should kill all that because he does not sound like Kendrick at all throughout this whole project. Like, he really has his own style, and it shows in this project, and that's why it made my number 5 spot on this list. But let's get into the very next number. Is number 4. And man, this was going to be a hard one for me. Question Mark by XXXTentacion. He just dropped Skins, and I fucking love that album. But you know, it was hard for me to choose. I didn't want to put Skins on there because it just came out. Even though, I got like 2 albums on here that just came out, but I had a little bit more time to sit with those than Skins. But I had to choose Question Mark because what a way to just, because I thought 17 was cool, but I was like, I need more, and this definitely gave me more. Even though the tracks were short, it still showed how crazy versatile this man was, man, and he had so much potential, and it sucks that he's gone. It really does suck. And you know what I'm saying, all I could do is give my condolences to his family. You know what I'm saying, rest up, you know, live long. But we're gonna get into my next one, number 3, and that's going to be Kids See Ghosts. Now, this whole rollout that Kanye did back in June was very controversial. A lot of people weren't fucking with a lot of the music that was putting out. It was too short, this, that, and the third. But this one to me stuck out the most and made the most sense, and it was kind of straight to the point. It was just more of a vibey type of atmospheric type of album, and it had some type of like rock elements to it and some oldie stuff, and I just really like the vibe of it. It's just the whole vibe, and I'm a huge fan of Kid Cudi. Like, I'm a huge fan, so I guess that's the reason why I put this up there in my top 3. So we got number 2. This one's gonna be Victory Lap. Now, this one and my number 1 spot were really hard for me because I really like Nipsey, and and the fact that it took him 10 years to make this album, it shows, man. It shows in his work ethic, and just it shows in this project, period, man. Like, if you haven't checked this out, I don't know what you're doing. You're sleeping. And I know some people are like, oh yeah, Astroworld's possibly album. No, this work ethic is crazy. Nipsey definitely deserves it. It was, it's phenomenal, man. And I cannot wait to hear what he has to come up with in the future. Hopefully he drops a project next year. But let's get into my number 1 spot. And that's kind of obvious by now. J. Cole's KOD. Not much to say on this, but it's kind of, it's obvious, man. Like, everything he talked about in this album is reflective of what's happened this year. That's why it's my top album. And that's not to knock anything, but or like seem negative or anything, but it's like, it's just everything he talked about was on the nose, and just like all the rappers that have passed away due to violence or drug overdoses and stuff this year is insane, bro. It's really out of control, and I don't think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, you know. And I hate to be that downer on that, but it's just the reality of the matter, because it's been happening so a lot more often over time as time goes on. Just doesn't seem like anything is changing. Nobody's like attitude is really shifting from these events, like with XXX dying, or you know, with Peep dying last year, or you know, it's just it's getting out of hand, and I hope it fixes itself over time. It's gonna take a while, but I got hope for it. But that's why KOD is in my #1 spot. I love this album, and I hope you like this list, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'm out. Peace.
You know, as we come to the end of this phase of our life, we find ourselves trying to remember the good times and trying to forget the bad times. We find ourselves thinking about the future. We start to worry, thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to be in 10 years? But I say to you, hey, look at me. Please, don't worry so much. I'll be back.